Hey everyone, in this video we're going to talk about phrasing. A phrase basically is just a complete musical thought, and it always ends with some kind of cadence, usually a half cadence or an authentic cadence. So if you look at the music that I have up here, let's listen to it and see if we can figure out where we feel that there are, first of all, cadences, and then after that whether we think that the cadences end a complete musical thought. So this is what you see. Okay, so I've written the sort of functional harmony underneath the melody there, just block chord style. So you can see it starts with a 1, and then a 4-6-4, back to a 1, and then a 2-6-5, ending with a 5, and then 1-4, actually 2-6-5 again, and then a cadential 6-4 followed by a 5, followed by a 1. So think about that melody. Where is there a cadence? So the first cadence seems to be right here with this pause on this half cadence G. So we hear bum ba da dum ba da 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 dum. Oh, and that sort of feels like the question, which the second half of the phrase is answering. Bum ba da dum bum bum, with its perfect authentic cadence there. We'll talk about question and answers a little bit more when we talk about periods. For now, it's enough to think of this first grouping as a phrase, and then this second grouping. So how we're going to show this on your homeworks is with a little drawing. So we're going to draw a phrase marking. So we've decided there are two phrases, so we'll draw two phrase markings. Glad that we're back with good old Microsoft Paint. So the first thing that we need to write under these phrase markings is where the phrase goes to, from and to. So we have this one going from measure 1 to measure 2. Oops. And this one comes from 3 to 4. And then at the other side we just say what kind of cadence ends the phrase. So we've decided that this is a half cadence, and this one is a PAC. Okay, so far so good. So you could draw those two phrase markings. You can hear that the music comes to a stopping point there. It's kind of like punctuation, kind of. This is the comma, this is a full stop, and this is how we represent it. So let's go down to a slightly more complicated version of this melody. Okay, so let's listen to this. A little bit trickier because the melody doesn't stop the same way that it does in that first phrase. So we've got now bum bum ba da dum ba da 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 dum ba da dum bum bum. So this is where you have to make a choice. I know choices are scary because there's not an easy right or wrong answer, but you can do it. So the choice is, do you hear it as bum ba da dum bum ba da 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 dum with a little bit of a tail on there, and then bum ba da dum bum bum, or do you hear it as one complete phrase, bum ba da dum bum ba da 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 dum ba da dum bum bum? Because that would totally change the way that you played it, right? Because if you heard it as two phrases still, bum ba da dum bum ba da 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 da, and then ba da da dum bum bum. I think in terms of choices that the whole phrase choice, the one phrase choice, is the better one for us here. But you can always argue. That's the best part about phrase analysis and all the form stuff that we're going to talk about, is that there's a lot of gray areas, and you can make arguments for a lot of things. So we're going to draw one phrase diagram. We're going to say that it's from measures 1 to 4, and that it ends with a PAC. So phrases might seem like that's really easy, but it really, like I said, changes the way that you might play something. So let's look at one more example, a little bit different. So here we have a real musical excerpt. And then it ends. It would keep going in real life. So here we have the 1 chord, and it sort of continues the 1 through that, and then we have a 4, and then we have maybe 2, 5, 1. So in this case, we don't feel like that 5 is a strong half cadence, right? You don't feel like you hear bum ba da 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 dum ba da 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 da. You want it to continue going. So in this case, what we're going to have is an elision. So we are going to have 2 phrases, though we don't know where the second one ends because I didn't write the 4th measure. So in 1 to 2 and 3, let's say it ended in 4, and let's say it ended with a good old PAC again. Now this question here is, does this end with a perfect authentic cadence, or does it end with a half cadence? Clearly when you hear it, you hear bum ba da 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 dum ba da 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 ba da dum. That's the musical thought. So we end with an authentic cadence, a perfect authentic, but it's also the note that the second phrase starts with. So there's a special way that we notate that, and it's with this little bloop, that thing. That means that the end of one phrase is also the beginning of a new phrase. So phrase analysis, you've really got to listen to the piece, you've got to play it, you've got to find some recording of it, whatever works. You've got to say, what do I hear? Do I hear this as a complete musical idea? Or do I hear this as an extension of something else? If you hear it as a complete musical idea and it ends with the cadence, you can mark it as a phrase the way that we've done here. Okay?